Belly going back to Conrad is some of the biggest growth that she's had in the entire show. The entire point of it is her realizing that you can grow, you can change, you can become this new person, but not abandon these core parts of you that are such important parts of your identity. She's finally learning that she doesn't need to punish her inner child for the mistakes she's made in the past, and that it doesn't need to be something that she harbors as resentment towards herself for forever. This choice is her finally letting herself love freely, and that is so much growth for her specifically. I don't get why anyone would say that she's regressing in this moment. I feel like it is the biggest step forward in her ultimate self-acceptance and healing. Especially in this past episode, she expressed so many times that she sees herself as the villain in the situation, and that she kind of thinks everyone back home thinks of her the same way. She absolutely needed to give herself grace and realize that she's not the villain, and that she is allowed to love who she loves and be herself. She needed to let go of this expectation that the only way for her to grow is to move on from her first love, who's the love of her life. And I don't know why there are members of the audience, specifically Team Jeremiah people, who have the same expectation for her. Why is moving on from the person you love the only way that you guys deem growth? I don't understand that. She doesn't need to abandon who she is at her core. And at her core, she loves Conrad. And one of my favorite things from all of the new season finale articles that we've gotten today is that Jenny Han actually confirmed that. I've been planning this video since that thing came out, and even before I had it written down, Belly loves Conrad. That is who she is to her core. And Jenny Han said those exact words in an article today. So you can't even argue on it that it's not part of her identity, because it is. And that's also not a bad thing, and I hope nobody turns it into this male-centered thing, because I feel like it is so toxic to think that having someone as your true love is something that shouldn't be that is just solely male-centered. I don't agree with that at all. When Conrad said to her, "I've changed everything about myself, and the one thing that doesn't change is that I love you," that was exactly the realization that Belly was having in this moment and needed to kind of have to realize that's okay. It's okay to feel that way, and it's okay to grow and to change and still have these feelings for someone, because they're soulmates. When she talked about her past self deserving to be happy, it was actually so heartbreaking to me, because it just showed how much she's been punishing herself all this time, not letting herself be happy. And this was another thing that Jenny also talked about in interviews today, that I just feel so vindicated after reading everything that Jenny, Chris, and Lola have said in the articles today. If you haven't seen them, please go read them online. They are so good. Everything I've been saying in my videos, everything I've been saying for the past 2 years, and in all the videos I posted this season, I was right, and they confirmed it for me, and I feel so vindicated by that. But one of the ones being that she has been punishing herself, and that's where so much of this denial comes from. And in case you don't want to read it, I'm going to show you what Jenny says here. She feels so much guilt and shame from all her decisions that she made with the wedding, and her belief that she broke with the brotherhood and the family. Everything was really torn apart. She's wary because she knows that with Conrad, if they go there again, it's for keeps, and you can't take that back. So you really have to be sure, because it could be hurting a lot of people. And that's, first of all, why she was a little bit iffy at the start of this episode, but that's also why I explained in my past videos that she didn't write back right away, and that she wasn't being cold, and that she's not over Conrad when she was in Paris in the last episode. She knows that with Conrad, if they go there again, it's for keeps. Thank you, Jenny. Here, Jenny's talking about how they use Out of the Woods, but she says that my hope with the scene is that she is remembering who she is. She's seen the picture of her little girl self, and she's feeling so much tenderness and love and compassion for that little girl, and she's been hating herself for so long. It's a moment of allowing herself to feel love for herself again and let go of some of that shame. And in doing so, she has to admit that she loves Conrad, and that's who she is at her core. Thank you, Jenny. They could not put it more clear into words exactly what they've been showing this whole season, the entire series, basically. It is so important for people to realize this in the context of the conversation that Conrad had with Belly right after the dress scene, and the conversations they've just had the whole season. It is so important. She's been deeply insecure and has been self-sabotaging herself this whole time, because it's so scary for her to be as in love with Conrad as she is, but she's finally letting herself love freely, and I feel like that is such a huge step of growth for her. And part of it being is finally realizing that she's worthy of love, but not just like love in general, but specifically Conrad's love. Because again, she has been in love with Conrad her entire life. She had him on a pedestal for most of her life, and she never felt like she was worthy enough of that love because she was so insecure. She never felt like, oh, I really am the one he loves. And she even said in the conversation, she was like, if your mom never got sick, like, would we even be together? And Conrad's like, what are you talking about? Because to him that is so off base, so inaccurate, but to her that's how she has been feeling because she never felt worthy of that love. And her finally choosing to go for Conrad is realizing and accepting that she is worthy of that love and accepting that love for herself and letting herself be loved by him. And I think that is so beautiful. And I know we were all like devastated, crying with Conrad here, especially when he was leaving the apartment, like wiping his tears. So sad. But like something that like I felt, at least personally, was I don't feel like he's as much hurt by Belly in this moment, but he's hurting for her because he, again, I think he knows her so well that he still sees right through her and sees what she's doing, and he can see the self-sabotaging that she's doing because he has done it himself. He did it in season 2. He did it in season 1. Like, he recognizes these patterns and he knows what Belly is feeling now, especially because she's been so honest with him in this conversation. And he's heartbroken that she feels this way because he knows he loves her so much, and he still can't even fathom to think that like she doesn't think she's worthy of that love and doesn't understand that. And like I just thought it was so sweet when like he said, like Belly said, I'm sorry, and Conrad goes like, I'm not. And it reminded me of in their last conversation before the failed wedding, where he was like, it was all worth it, like loving you was worth it. And that's just always his take with it. So I don't think that like he felt this sort of like heartbreak from like being super like not like offended by what Belly was saying to him, but he was just so heartbroken that like she's not taking the chance on their love, and he knows the reasons why, and that breaks his heart for her and for himself, obviously. But I am just so beyond happy that they had that honest conversation and Belly was able to have this realization to come out of it to end up leading to this beautiful moment, and then finally saying I love you to each other in present time, to each other's face, both of them saying it back to each other. Guys, so beautiful. And her growth, his growth, the fact that like I think it has showed so much, especially in this finale episode. And I'm just really happy and happy for them, even though they're not real people, but you know what I mean. Okay guys, we freaking made it. We had the finale. It was beautiful, perfect, literally exceeded every expectation I had. And now we're getting a freaking movie. Like, I don't even know how to process this, but I'll get into that later. Let me go into my finale thoughts. First thing I noticed was immediately that we are kind of getting dual point of view. I know we don't hear Conrad talk, like we don't get that inner monologue from him, but we got so many flashbacks from his perspective. Like, first of all, when he goes to Paris and he sees her on the scooter and he gets a flashback to him putting the infinity necklace on her. Also, this video might be really hard to get through without crying. I've been crying all day because of the show, but I'm about to start crying again just thinking about this. Conrad taking the picture of her on the bus. One of the sweetest little tiny scenes I have ever seen, and Jenny Han knows exactly how to write what women want. Like, I know every single girl was like kicking her feet screaming at that because it is just like the sweetest little gesture, and just him being so obsessed with her, I can't. One of my favorite moments was when Conrad was nerding out about the human body and then Belly like remembering exactly why she loved him. It reminded me so much of in season 2 when they were at the arcade and being super competitive with each other and messing around, and she has this inner monologue and she says, it was so hard not to love him when he was sweet like this. I remembered why I did. Used to love him, I mean, and obviously she still loves him, but it reminded me so much of that because like it's to their core who they are is like they love each other so much. And she's like, you sounded just like 10-year-old you, and they just know each other so well, and they both have these parts of them that like are so essential to their identity that they both love each other for so much. Okay, jumping ahead, she knew exactly what she was doing in that dress. Like when dress played, not a surprise, like I'm low-key convinced she had a different birthday dinner dress picked out before she knew Conrad was coming, because that was something. Also, seeing Conrad unapologetically love her, call her beautiful, admit he came to Paris for her, like actually heal something in me. he is like literally like a lover boy to his core. Like he loves Belly so much. We see this in his episode. I mean, I think we've been seeing it through the last 3 seasons. Some may want to disagree with that, but it's been there. And like him being able like to feel the confidence to express that, and like kind of a lot of it's coming from like he doesn't want to let this go again. He needs to show her that he loves her, and he's doing that. And I loved how jealous Benito was of Conrad. And the reason is because you know for a fact that he knows Conrad is the reason he got dumped. Like the fact that he was like, you're a legend around here. What has Belly been saying? To be a fly on the wall when Belly like actually explained all the Conrad lore, because I know she explained it not the first night we saw the aftermath, but like she's been talking about Conrad a little bit more. Her friends knew all the tea, so I would love to see what she was saying. Conrad clapping back at Benito and saying, I'll always be the boy who taught you to ride a bike. And his smile after. I screamed. I screamed the second time I watched it. I screamed the third time I watched it. And I'm going to scream the fourth. It was perfect. And I've been seeing all the jokes about that's not the only thing he taught her. And yeah, you're right about that too. The entire birthday dinner scene, but specifically the one where they were talking about the marijuana messes White Matter moment. I think top 4 Belly Conrad scenes of all time for me personally. It was so hot. I'm just gonna say it. It was so hot. Like the tension between them, the eye contact, when she like not clapped back at him, but when she was like, "Do you remember every little thing I've ever said?" Like role reversing from in season 1 when they said that, and he immediately says yes. Like, are we kidding? I feel like I could make a whole video on the gift that Conrad brought her. It was one of the most thoughtful and sweet things, but whatever you do, try not to think about Conrad on that 4th of July, right after his mom died, and he sees Belly and Jeremiah together go to the beach and collect sand in that little thing with the thought that he wasn't coming back for a very long time. Whatever you do, don't think about that, because I did today and I sobbed. So that's all I have to say right now. Their conversations this entire episode were all so important, and like again, maybe I'll make a video on like literally every single one they had, but specifically right now, if we're kind of going in order of the episode, when they were talking on the way to the river and they were talking about how Belly sees herself as a villain, like why she moved to Paris, all this stuff, and Conrad reassures her like, I'm not holding you to those promises, like you did not ruin our family, you are not the villain. She needed to hear this so bad. I know we saw the leaks, but seeing it in real, them slow dancing under a full moon to the song Only Have Eyes for You, which I have been predicting for, again, years now, it healed something in me I didn't realize. Like, it was so beautiful, and the full moon and just all of everything with them, with the moon and stars, so perfect. Them talking about prom and Conrad saying make love. The fact that he says the words make love is the most in-character thing I've ever seen, actually. I almost passed out. So sweet. Like, could he be written any sweeter? I don't think it's possible. It's so perfect and fitting that he says those words. And you know that's how he refers to it every time he, like, has those moments with Belly. No doubt in my mind. When he asks her, have you moved on? And she just looks at him and then kisses him. You know he was, like, I can't express, like, what I feel like the joy that he felt in his body was. Like, the relief he must have felt in that moment. I can't. Dress. I don't know what to say right now, because that was honestly so meaningful to me that we got Dress. Like, I've listened to Dress probably 20 times today, and I've cried multiple times because of it. Like, I know it's like a sexy song, but like, if you listen to the lyrics, it is so Belly and Conrad too. Like, I've literally been saying this since August of 2023, like after season 2 came out. I was like, Dress is their song. Like, guys, you don't understand what this means to me. Part of it, flashbacks to my mistakes, my rebounds, my earthquakes, even in my worst lies, you saw the truth in me. If that doesn't describe season 3 as a whole, I don't know what does. The entire Dress scene, I'm going to be classy and I'm not going to go into details, but I am unwell. Like, genuinely was perfect. Thank you, Jenny Han. On to that, I don't want to be dramatic, But I'm 100% serious when I say that the sex scenes between Belly and Conrad are like the best I've seen on television. Personally, I 100% stand by that. They are the best like sex scenes I've ever seen on television. Jenny writes them so tenderly and beautifully and carefully, and it is so well done and just so well executed. Like, they feel so full of love and real, and I just can't express like how beautiful they are. You're stuck with me forever. Okay, obviously this led into like a lot, but I thought it was still really like sweet. I don't know. Like, people were like, oh, why'd he say that? And like, because he wants to be with her forever. Like, he's just joking, but like, he's kind of still serious. Like, he means it. I'm going to go more into depth over that whole conversation that they had and why it was so important. So I'm just going to point out little things from that conversation. I loved Conrad, like, literally laughing at her doubting his reasons for loving her. Like, he actually could not believe what she was saying to him. And I thought that was kind of like very like sweet moment. I saw an interview today that Chris talked about that it's like kind of like, it's just like refreshing to see another person be like, what are you even talking about something that you were kind of so worried about? Like, if that makes sense, like, not in a dismissive way. Like, he was not dismissive at all. He was just like, I cannot believe you actually think that. You are so off base, but like in the best way. Belly and Jeremiah constantly used Susanna as their excuse for being together, so of course she's insecure about that and needed the confirmation that that wasn't the case with Conrad and that Susanna wasn't a factor in their love, because Susanna had such a looming presence over her relationship with Jeremiah that she can't risk feeling that again. And I know Belly getting freaked out and denying everything was like so hard to watch, but it was so important that her and Conrad had that conversation, and that comes to like the realization that she doesn't need to like abandon these core parts of herself just for growth. So I thought that was beautiful. I am running out of time, but one of the things I really wanted to say is Jeremiah's entire character downfall is really his role in the triangle. I still don't love like the whole golden retriever character and stuff, but he is so much more bearable as a side character than his role in the love triangle. The role in the love triangle literally brought out every horrible trait of his. Speaking of, Denise, never speak on Conrad ever again. Why do all of Jeremiah's girlfriends need to put down Conrad? To inflate Jer's ego. Why? And on to that, I think a really important contrast was when Belly earlier in the season was making fun of Conrad for being at Stanford Medical School, like to make Jer feel better, versus now in Paris when he was talking about the human body and it reminded her of when he was 10 and why she loved him. Like, it was so important. I did love when Denise called Jer out for being obsessed with Conrad though, so that was awesome. The last scene, when they were walking into the house, their outfits were so Noah and Allie coded from The Notebook. I can't. A fucking movie. I still can't believe this is real life and I have so much more to say, but these were things I kind of expected to have, like if we get a bonus episode before the movie was announced, so I can do a whole video about what I think could be in the movie, but lots of hopes and dreams and I'm so excited.